a fixed. Hello
Okay,
and
so I will
welcome.
close.
Yes, we're live. We're live. Hello and welcome to today's session from Reads to
Hi.
Leads. I have a wonderful Mirav with me, who will be sharing her background in a second. But what we're going to do really, an idea for your own book. Both of us, we've been writing a lot of books and having bestsellers as well. Myself, I've got 3 here that I've actually used to get my business, up level my business, basically position myself as an authority in the field and also get leads from it. So the great combination is that myself and Mirav have been obviously in the book authoring industry, and she comes from more of a perspective of how do you write the book, and then I'm coming from the perspective of how do you then package the book and get leads through the book, because there's things that you can actually include so that you get leads and sales through the book as well. So that's what we're here for today. And yeah, I guess maybe Mirav, you can just position how do you write books. It's not the usual way, and sort of copy paste, and then we'll do a bit more introduction with you and me. So let's go. You've got your slide up here about authenticity and how we're doing it.
Yeah, so first of all, welcome everybody. I'm really excited to see you all, and just take a deep breath and let's just tune into what we're trying to do here. You're going to have your vision in a few seconds. You can see what's happening around is that the world is really changing, and although everybody who is somebody has a best-selling book, also everybody who is a nobody are trying to write a book, and it's usually books that are very, I call it chewing gum books, like books that are very chewed up, copy paste, the same information, everybody's saying exactly the same. So if you are going to put that energy and that time and money into writing your book, you want it to be very unique, and you want it to be something that would really call in your people, not just any people. And the best way to do it, the best way to create that bridge and to really stand out is to be very raw, very you, very authentic. I call it writing naked, just shedding out every filter, every mask, every something external that you have that might stop you from bringing out that fragility and that authenticity that people want now to hear. Your story is unique. You are unique. This is also the easiest way actually to write a book, because instead of trying to find out what other people want to hear or what they need to know or what the market research, you just go for what you know best, which is your own story, your own experience. So what we want to do in bringing out that unique book is we want to magnetize to you your soul readers that will become your clients, thanks to Sabine's amazing methods. And the way to write it most easily and to get out of your head and into your heart is what we call writing naked. So your greatest marketing asset is actually your story, your voice, and writing from your soul. And that will create that connection that will bring soul clients through your message as warm leads. People who read your book and who will message you are already warm. They don't need to know more about you. They already know your story. They already understand your message. They're already attracted to it and they want more. So it's much more efficient than just sending cold messages to people who don't know you and don't know nothing about you. And I actually have one of my clients who's built a business around her books, that one of the ABCs of her business is go and read my books first and then come back to me, because that saves her all that time and energy, but it also prepares the clients for it. So what we want to do when we write our memoir, and we're going to focus on memoir, which is the most powerful thing you can give this world and the most powerful thing that you can write and will make you really stand out. Then you can, get into all kinds of niches and subjects. But this is, for me, like the basis for building your empire. Your memoir will let you to connect authentically. It will build your authority as someone who knows what they're talking about. People, when they know that you're an author, especially a best-selling author, they already see you as an authority. That's why we call it authority. They already see you as someone who's already leveled up. And of course, it will generate leads to you. We're going to use your book as a business card, as a hook, as a way to call people into your services. I will do like this when you can move on the slides, Sabine. Oh, she's stuck there.
I've done it. Meet your host.
We will try to freeze in a very flattering feature so we can take a screenshot later. Okay, so meet us. I'm going to say a few words about myself and then move the mic. I am Mirav Tarkka. Those of you who don't know me, I'm 11 times #1 best-selling author and publisher. My expertise is in self-publishing. I've published all my books myself and books of over 100 authors so far with 100% success of becoming #1 best-selling authors and self-publishers. And my method, Write Naked, is all about writing authentically, writing with your soul, writing with your heart, being in your heart, being shameless, being authentic, being raw, and not being polished at all. Showing up your truth. Sabine, I'm moving to me.
Yes. So, and yeah, I guess the second piece to this, I'm called the Funnel Queen. I'm also a female business strategist, so I do work with female entrepreneurs who want to build robust, consistent sales funnels and strategies, and I help also with all the messaging, digital programs, and packaging. And I'm also, well, I'm not quite 11 times best-selling author. I have 3 books, as I mentioned before, but I have 75 different collaborators in the books across the 3. So I know what it takes to project manage. I know what it takes to monetize the books as well, and how you can then take the book further and use the book as a way to gain traction, to gain leads, to gain more sales. And then I think the book is just a starting point, because you can do so much more thereafter. And when people come to me, like Mirav has come and she goes, I think it was before your first book, she said, how do I do this book business? You've done a couple.
I had no idea.
I always ask, look, what do you want to get out of the books? I mean, it's great just to leave a legacy and obviously write your story and share this and make an impact. But ultimately, you want to monetize the book. You want to further your business in some shape or form, right? And that's what you need to think about. And you need to think about this in the very, very beginning, and then thread these ideas and the strategies throughout your book already. And then also think about what's the next logical step for people to take once they've read the book, they have the book in their hands, or maybe they have it on Kindle. But it has to trigger some sort of emotion for them, that they want to actually take an action and connect with you further. Maybe come into your community, for example. So I have loads of strategies for you coming up in this workshop that will help you think all of this through. And I know Mirav is going to unlock ideas, so that's probably going to be the first. So I'm going to go to the next slide here. Let me just share what we've got planned, because we're going to help you unlock your story first, and then think through how you're going to promote the book and how you can get leads and sales conversions from your book. Okay, so let me just go to the next slide. If it lets me. Oops, that was too quick. Is that the next
I just
one?
muted myself when you are speaking, so there is no echo sound.
No worries. So yeah, I think we kind of talked about this, right? It's about sharing your truth and leaving a legacy. And I did mention it's great to leave a legacy. It's great to have a purpose and impact beyond the pages.
Absolutely.
And it's really going to help you build your brand and position yourself as an authority in the field, right? So I think we're kind of on the same page when it comes to, like, what's a book really going to do? And don't make the mistake just to rush into writing a book, because a lot of people do it. There is AI tools out there, and they copy and paste things. That's not what it's all about. This is much deeper. This is your true self, your true, you can obviously write. Exactly. I mean, you can probably write books about business. Like I can write a business book and say, this is how I've, built gazillions of funnels, but that's not what this is. And even my books, they're called In Pursuit of Empowerment, Rise. That's the main thing. Then the next one was Joy, Recipes for Abundance. And the third one was about the pandemic and the shifts in the pandemic. And I was always interested in collecting people's stories and really inspiring others with lived stories. And that's what you did as well, Mirav. And that's where the connection was like really, really strong with the audience, where they start to look at you as someone, you know, who's like a guide or an inspiration. And then they take that to you.
Yeah, because also we are looking we're looking at the long-term game. We're not looking for just, a fame phase. Okay, I launched my book, it became a bestseller, woohoo, bye-bye now. No, it's about bringing people into your circle and creating that connection, that warm lead that becomes a hot lead, that becomes a loyal lead that will keep on coming back to you and wanting to hear your message and fighting to be in the front row and learning from you. So the investment of time, energy, and even money is the same, whether you write a book that is completely superficial and bringing out the same old just to say that you're a best-selling author or a published author, or if you actually take that time and make it a quality time, a time that your truth will be out there. And the right people, not all people. So this is another thing. We don't need to please people through our books, because the right people will be pleased. So we don't need a book to be perfect. We don't need everybody to love it. We need it to be the right frequency, the right alignment with people that we want in our circle. And about what you said before, Sabine, so yes, you need to use the full potential of your book, but sometimes you are not even aware of it. And so even if you write your book just as a way of telling your story with no outcome at sight, maybe you are writing it because you have been suffocated by your story, because you just want to tell it, because you want to set an example for your children of someone who is standing behind their truth. If you write it in a certain way, the possibilities are infinite. I had a client that she wrote a very personal book, conversations between her and her late husband. And we had no idea what would have happened from that book. It was written as a pure memoir. We didn't think about how to create from it some kind of hook or like, we didn't use any of the tools that you can use here now. What happened was people read her book, which was all about grief and dealing with grief and her conversations with her late husband. And she was invited to speak on international stages. And therefore, as a result, today she has a business where she speaks on international stages, helping people with their grief with no qualifications, but her own story and her own book. And every time people come into her lectures, they get her book, they get that information, they get a one-on-one conversation with her, which now turned into a vehicle for her life through her story. Now, she just wrote her memoir, but she wrote it crying. She wrote it with, her soul all open there. She bared everything. She shared everything. And she wrote it naked, like literally naked. That changed everything for her because she felt she could really be herself. The right people felt it. We didn't do a big publicity and so on. I think that if we would have, it would have been even greater. So you never know that it's really good to set a vision. But when you write in a certain way, things will have the ripple effect, and it can get to levels that you have never imagined, because you're connected to your purpose, because you're connecting to your readers, because you're writing something that is so unique. So.
Beautiful. Okay, so shall we get started? Yes, we're now to get into the I think we've probably covered this as well. In other words, just probably here that you don't just want to write a book and be like everyone else. You want to write something from your truth and leave a legacy, build your brand,
exactly.
And see what your next chapter is, right? Because there will be some opportunity towards the end of the session where perhaps we can open up some more. So your next chapter and for you to think what that will be. Okay, so we're going to start with a soul-led writing activation by Mirav. Then I'm going to talk through the business blueprint behind the best-selling book and how I did it and what's possible and what's possible for you as well. And of course, we're always going to talk about how to build from your truth, because we need to connect back into the truth, into your story, into your why. And then we depart with a couple of free gifts and next steps for you as well. So again, I think we talked about this as well, Mirav. For some reason, we have this as threaded into every slide somehow. Reminder. So in a visual format, right? Authentic value, authority building, and emotional connection. So now let's go deep.
Let's go deeper. So, you know, a lot of people, when they start writing their story, they feel very much exposed, and they feel that it is too much, that this is something that other people won't be interested in reading. Who am I to write a book? Why would my story interest anyone? And I've heard things like someone who's not famous shouldn't ever put their face on the cover of their book, or they shouldn't even write a memoir. I had a client that came to me that she was terrified of writing a memoir because she was told by a coach that she shouldn't do that because she's nobody famous. You can get famous through your memoir. You should always write a memoir, whether you're already Joe Dispenza or you're becoming Joe Dispenza, or you are just a simple Jane, like I talked about my client Jane before, because that is the power of storytelling, and that is the power of your personal story. That is what would inspire. I would be much more inspired listening to plain Jane, who has taken her life from zero to over here at the age of 60, doing things that she never thought she would do, than to listen to some and about their success personally. And because we want to resonate, your readers will want to find the common ground. They will want to go into your story and find themselves there and trust you to show them how to change things for them. So your story does all that. That's the magic. That's the bridge. Your story will take those readers, show them that you know what you're talking about, that you've lived their story, that you have a message for them, that you have the tools, even it will make them feel that you are by them, side by side, and that trust will build that continuation, and they're willing to know more through you. It also brings out your magnetism, because you are talking about something that is very close to you. You are talking about something that is close to your heart, that you went through. For example, if you are writing a book to help women who've been abused, and you yourself have been abused, it is much more powerful than a therapist who's never gone through that, talking to other people how to cure that. People will resonate more with someone who's been there, who's done that, who knows exactly what they're feeling. And this will create that magnetism. So you want to pull people authentically. You're not doing any, you're not inventing anything. You're writing about your story, putting them into a movie, and giving them hope, giving them inspiration, giving them entertainment, giving them tools to bring them to after the story. And inside their mind, the psychology would be, oh, she helped me with this little thing. I'm happier just after reading the book. I wonder what else she can do. And this is where we create a bridge for the one-on-one powerful portal, or whatever Sabine is going to explain later. She is absolutely amazing. Honestly, Sabine, just a side note, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you. Like, you've taught me so much. And here is a good example. Sabine, I trusted her. I didn't know her before. I trusted her because she has gone through things that I was going through at the time, and she knew how to guide me through those things. And now when I am about to step into the next level of my business, I don't know no one who can understand me as well as she can, because she's also a best-selling author. She has taught me so many things. She is in the level where I want to be, and she has been in the level where I am now. She didn't ask me to coach. I asked her, how can you teach me? What else can I learn from you? Teach me, please. So this is what your book can do without doing all the salesy things. It's just tell you a story. And it's super easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually tune into your raw story, your nakedness, and we're going to write something together.
And I think this is now where you have excelled me, as in like doing exactly this.
That's a huge compliment.
Stripping yourself kind of naked, I guess, right? You can also just mentally strip yourself naked, I guess, but you do it physically as well, and
I do.
This, isn't it? Whereas, yeah, I'm very much a business strategist, and I have my logic head on all the time and thinking processes. And of course, this is where we work together so well. You can unlock these stories, because when I started off, I didn't think I had something to share. It was hard for me to actually start writing something, and perhaps I don't think we're ever ready to share our story. That's something I would like to just add, because it may feel a bit daunting. And when I started to write, and it was a coincidence really that I started to write a book, because I woke up one morning and I had this idea literally given to me. It was it's probably a question from God. It says, well, you're a very good project manager. Go and collect 100 stories. That's the idea. So they have 25 more to go. Go and collect 100 stories from inspirational leaders around the world, and create a ripple effect. That's what I heard, and I knew exactly how the book would need to be laid out. It's not a black and white. It's got a lot of images inside, so it's very inspirational. Very lucky that my husband is a graphic designer, so I told him, "I'm going to do the book on the inside and the whole." I knew from a project management, from a business strategist perspective, exactly how I needed to pull it together, how to market it, how to get the people on board, and then everyone else started to write their stories, because I told them I was, kind of somehow I said, this is what I want to have in the book, and this is the impact that we want to create with the book.
Yeah.
And they went away and I started to write their stories, and I was like obviously doing all the project managing type of stuff and handling their documents, and then obviously I had a copywriter. My native language isn't even English, so what I'm gonna write. So there was a lot of obstacles and challenges that I faced, but I was very trusting myself that I knew how to then bring the book onto the market and market it in a way that we have this collaboration, because obviously there were 25 different, including myself, 24 others then who would help market it. And so I had to devise this marketing strategy that was then foolproof. But then coming back to writing my own story, all of a sudden, when I had the time, I unlocked so much depth. Well, it was almost like a therapy for me, and I never knew that these stories were actually inside of me. So just take it from me, as someone who was kind of quite uninspired or uninspiring, that you can actually do this too. You just need to give yourself the space and trust yourself. And I think Mirav has the tools to unlock that bit.
Yeah. And, your body knows and your soul knows what should be written now. And the thing is that most authors, the number one block is that they're too much in their head. We start thinking, who will like this? Am I writing good enough? Is my story potent enough? So all of this is taken away of the raw story. Your message, whatever it is ready to be delivered the second you feel the calling to write the book. And you will feel the calling. Nothing has to be. I think that just by listening to what your heart is telling you, and we're going to do an exercise that is going already to start the activation, and that idea can come to you immediately, like to you, Sabine, and it's like a lightning. Okay, I know now. Or it could take some time. By activating, you will create that connection, and you will know what to write about. The client I spoke about before, Jane, she wanted to write a children's book, like fairy tales and stuff. When we went on a call first time, I didn't know her. It wasn't even on video. She's like, I want to write a fairy tale book. And I'm like, why? She said, I don't know. I think the world needs more of that. I'm like, it doesn't sound like you really want to do that. Why don't you, take a few hours and listen to some music and go for a walk and meditate and feel like what is calling you? And she came back to me after 30 minutes and she said, I know now. I need to have this book about conversations with my husband. I don't know why, but that's now I feel it's strong. She wrote everything within a week, because it was so strong. She just had to get it out while it was there. So it will call you, and everyone is a bit different. And I do think we all have powerful stories. You don't have to invent hot water. You're telling a story. There doesn't even have to be a punchline. When I wrote my first book, there was no punchline. Hey, I'm not perfect, and so on. I spoke about my story and what happened.
Which is incredible, by the way. Should be a movie. That your first book. What is it
Undefeatable.
called?
Undefeatable.
That is unbelievable. I was hooked to it. It was like, oh my God, it's going to be a movie.
Yeah, I got that a lot, but it's really surprising for me.
That's another thing. Homeless at some time, then you went through. You grew up in Israel. You went into the military. You went through war, and there were missiles and things like that happening. It was like, oh my gosh, it was all going. And I was like, what is that a real story?
But for me, it was normal. And this is another thing. Like, you think your life is normal and boring and whatever. For me, that was my life. I wanted boredom. I was like, oh, for God's sake, I just want to wake up in the morning, not have to run to shelters and so on. And when I got out of that, I moved out of Israel, then started another war in my personal life, because then I got into a domestic relationship and marriage and became a single mom and so on. So I honestly, when I wrote my first book, I had no idea. I didn't write it to make sales. I didn't write it to become a bestseller. I just wrote it because my story was like suffocating me. That was my reason, and that was my memoir. And I'm going to continue to write that book, Undefeatable 2 and 3, and I don't know how many more are coming. And I was really, really surprised, because I started getting messages from people whom I've never met, telling me that my story really gave them power and inspiration. I got messages from people who knew me and were like, we had no idea. I also got some not so nice messages, which I expected from people who were in that story. But what happened on, the bigger picture was that I started getting confidence that my voice matters, and I started talking louder, so to speak. I started writing more books. I started teaching people to write books. Later on, it became a career. So now, by this time, I think 5 years has passed. I have made over 100 authors who have influenced each one their readers. So thousands and thousands of lives. Some of them became speakers on stages. Some books were on Netflix. One author became an Oscar best-selling author winner. People broke records here, world records. People, took their families and lived in other countries because they created business based on their book idea, and they got that confidence that they can speak and they should speak. So, it's a ripple effect. And all of that started for me writing my humble story that I didn't know how to write. I'm not a native English speaker. I didn't have any money. I think that's how we met, because, you gave me some advice that was gold. And I was just like, I just want to put my story out there. And I had to confront a lot of fear, because, I wrote about things that were very painful for me. I also needed a lot of wine. So eventually you confront fear with your courage. You're like, I'm scared. I'm going to do it anyway. So this actually builds your character. It's not only about the book becoming a bestseller. It's the whole process of you putting yourself out there as an author, as a speaker, as someone who represents truth, right? Because you are there saying, this is my truth, and it's not beautiful. I have some ugly truths. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I wasn't always perfect, not perfect now either. I've done things that I'm not proud of, and I wrote about them, because this is what we're out there to say. I'm not a polished Barbie. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I fucking worked hard for everything I have. And in human design, I'm a projector 3/5. So I fail and try again, and fail and try again, and fail and try again. And, my whole life has been these experiences. Someone who would find my message inspiring would come to learn from me, would come to publish their book with me, would come to ask me, hey, how did you do that? For other people, I'm just, annoying. And that's okay. I'm okay with that.
And one thing that you just triggered here, this is deep, and this is great that you're actually sharing, how you came to actually author your books and what it did for you. And if you're saying, some people might say, oh, how do I write about true things without actually naming and shaming others? I think that's an important piece. I had that in my books as well, where I said to everyone, look, make sure you're not using their real names.
Exactly.
So that they're not going to come and sue you or anything like that, right? So
there's a trick also.
There needs to be some thought and care around that as well, as to how you're sharing things and how much you want to share, because you've got to think about the impact on others it may have. And it could be that we're really, annoyed with those people and we hate them, or we're divorced and we talk about like that. Again, I think we just have to be mindful. And I think this is where working with someone who's been through this is really, really key to actually get those nuances correct in the book.
Yeah, and there's a fine line because on one hand you also don't want to hurt them, but on the other hand you want to be loyal to your truth. And I face that in my book a lot, because in my book I wrote also about my family, and even though I changed their names, my father, my mother, just enough with these. Yeah, but I got to a point, there were some stuff that I didn't say, but there were some stuff that I said that I knew that if my father would one day read, it would break his heart. And I decided to write it anyway, because it was that decision that would be like, I either keep on hiding and silencing myself in that second, and I'm talking about the moments that I was almost raped and so on. Like, no father would like to read that about his daughter, but it was important for me to say, so I went for it. I had an author who was very scared to write things because she was afraid that one day her son would read it, and I totally understand it. For me, I wanted my daughters to read that. I wanted my daughters to see that message. There are all kinds of ways you can tell your truth without hurting and putting under the bus some people. So you can make out of your even memoir a fiction book, and you can also put in the copyright saying that all stories are based on a real life story. So you can never be sued because, hey, you just said it's based on real life story. So maybe you're lying just to sell copies. Yeah. So the reader cannot do anything to you. That was kind of my trick.
Even if you watch like Netflix series like The Crown, they say some of the things have been made up, not exactly what happened to the family.
Exactly.
So you could do that as well, absolutely. So then,
or you can write also. You can write in a third person as if you're writing about someone else, and you can turn it also a metaphoric book, kind of like The Alchemist. And I think that's also very powerful. But that decision you make when you get to a certain story, that you are like, okay. So for example, about my ex-husband, I wrote that the sex with him was horrible. And I know that if one day he reads it, he would hate it. And I changed his name and everything, so he cannot sue me. But in the same time, I don't care if he hates it, and I'm telling the truth. I didn't just say something to sell the book. And even if so, this is my truth. This is my experience. So in that case, I don't care. But in other cases, when it's about something that could eventually, I don't know, bother my children or, create damage in people that I care about lives, then you have to make that decision. If it's a decision just about people liking you, fuck it. And you need to take the decision that scares you most. Like, the right decisions are usually the ones that scares you most. The ones with the biggest investment, the ones with the biggest energy investment, the ones with the greatest courage. These are the ones that would change your life. And you better be the person with the yeses and the regrets than the person who regrets what not doing. Now you're here writing a book. You could always take it off the shelves if it's too much. We don't want to do that because you put all that energy in it. So writing it right is important. And this is why also you want to structure your book in a way that in the future would serve you, which is, what we're trying to do here.
Cool. Right. So I think we got to speed up.
Pardon my French, by the way. Oh, yeah, so I spoke about that I had no idea what would happen with my first book. I wrote it. I had no idea. Like, I remember the day that I started writing it, and I was so scared that I would go into my head and get even scareder, more scared, that I wrote it in a whole breath. I didn't stop writing until I finished, until I knew it's the end. It took me 26 days from the first day I wrote it till the day I published it. And it was just like, and I was scared, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I don't think it would have been so good and so heart-touching and so me if I wouldn't have written it in one go. And every time I felt the fear, I pushed through. And I said to myself, I could always edit it out. But right now it's important to write it just the way it is. And it's very authentic. And now, like 5 years later, I have led so many people to that liberty, to that freedom, and to financial freedom through their books. The book is like this virtual business card that introduces you everywhere, introduces your methods, gives people something. So you're being extremely generous towards the world and finding solutions to problems. But it's also saying, hey, if you want more, come to me. So it's like this kind of virtual lap dance. Come and I will show you more. And obviously more means more investment.
Cool. So
we're going to put some music. Can you hear the music in the background?
Yep.
Is it too loud? Oh, it's okay.
Okay, no, it's perfect.
Okay, so what we want to do here is to give you a taste of the Write Naked method. And I can hear myself double. Is the sound okay? Oh, okay. Okay, so start again. We wanted to give you here a taste of how easy it is and how intuitive and how quick it is to write naked. So if you want, you can eventually include this in your book. But right now it's an exercise that will take you around 3 minutes after the activation. So I would like you to go somewhere that you can either sit down or even stand up like I'm doing right now. Have a candle lit by you. I like to have a mirror in front of me because I really like to look into my eyes and kind of feel like I'm talking to my soul. You can have for this exercise something to cover your eyes or a scarf. If you want to go naked, you are more than welcome. If I wasn't here on camera, I probably would. And I do in certain occasions with certain clients. But right now, to respect our privacy, you can just have a scarf around your neck or some kind of towel or something that would be symbolic for you unmasking yourself. And you could put earphones if it feels more intimate. Have a pen and paper. If you want, you can run some sage or put some incense around, just something to get you into the mood of this special time, special ritual between you and you. And this is something that is going to really start the process of going from hiding your true truth, your real message, your real purpose at this time and place, and going up to exposure. So we're going to unfilter ourselves, uncover ourselves, and really enjoy that touch between us and us. So I would like you to
put the music up a little bit more. I can hardly hear it.
So this music has been specially channeled for writing. It has the frequency that would help you to connect into your inner power and inner voice. It also has very silent affirmations that are telling you that you are amazing and you are God, goddess, and a creator of your life. And it also has shamanic drumming that will help you to go to that other world. So what I want you to do is you can cover your eyes, you can put the bandana on, put the scarf on, or just simply close your eyes and just listen to my voice. Put your hands on your heart, and we're going to take deep breaths in your own time, with your own pleasure. Just breathe deep. Breathe into your nose and out through your mouth. And as you are breathing deeply, I would like you to command your mind to rest. Just tell your mind rest. And focus all your attention on your heart. Try to feel your heartbeat. Put your hands on your heart. Just a pure connection between you and your heart. And as your heart is beating, it is sending these beautiful frequencies of love to every single cell of your body, to your chakras, to your aura, to your sphere, to your DNA, and even beyond, even to the DNA of your ancestors, the energy of your divine team, to your loved ones, and to your readers, and to your book, and most of all to yourself. Now, if you are a woman, I would like you to move your right hand to place it above your womb. This is extremely potent if you are naked. And I just want you to the center of your hand to send loads of beautiful light and energy to your womb as the power of creation. You have the power to create life, and you're giving life to this book. You're giving love and life to your message that will be manifested physically through this book. You're giving life and love to the future best-selling author in you, or to the next stage of you. Now place your hand back to your heart, touching your body on the way, feeling your body. And with both hands on your heart, put your hands up above your head, both of them, and draw a beautiful heart around all your body. Go back to your scarf or whatever you have on you, and you can drop it off if you haven't already. And just stand there or sit there, connected to your body, connected to your heart, connected to Mother Earth and to Father Sky, connected to all the messages that are ready now to come through. giving permission and opening, especially your crown chakra, to get all that info and falling into this beautiful energy of surrender. Whatever comes through, you are accepting it with no resistance, with no blocks. You are the tool that will be writing that message. All you need to do is listen. Now roll your shoulders to the back. Exhale. Open your eyes. And now you can take pen and paper and go into writing. I'm going to give you a few prompts. You can do all of them, or you can just do one of them that feels closest to you. We're going to focus on writing a love letter. You can write a love letter to your future reader. Your reader can also be yourself. It can be your children. It can be whatever you feel called to as your reader. Thank you, Sabine. You can write a beautiful love letter from your book to you, being so grateful that you are listening to it, that you are here writing it, that you are manifesting it physically. The book is so proud of you. The book has its own essence, and it promises to give you whatever you need to write it. And you can write a letter to yourself as the best-selling author that you are becoming through this book, that you see yourself as becoming, whether the transformation is internal or external, how you see yourself feeling, walking, being, how you share your dreams, and how much you are committed to what you are doing today. Now, I suggest that you take between 3 to 10 minutes to write a letter. If you want, you can write all 3 of them. And that would create that connection. You only need to do it once. That will create that connection that will lead you all through the book, between you and your readers, between your readers to you, between you and your book, between your book and you. And it'll create that intent. So your book will not just be some kind of journaling, but it's a book written with an intent to create the impact and to show your purpose of this world. So I'm just going to be a bit quiet here to give you some time, or if you want to pause and to keep on writing, if you're watching this on a replay. And I'm going to get a glass of water in the meantime. Enjoy.
Okay, I think just in the interest of time, if you need more time, I would just pause the video and then continue with the exercise. I just want to make sure that we finish on time for you, Mirav. I know you have to leave very, very soon. So I think that was a really powerful exercise. I really enjoyed that, and definitely would have to do it again.
Thank you.
So that was your right naked activation, which I think, will bring out all of these things: authenticity, your connection, your vulnerability, and also transform you. And also the fact that you can write about your own transformation or help your readers understand some sort of transformation that you're writing about and inspiring them, right?
Yeah. This is a very, very potent exercise, and it makes a huge difference. Huge difference when you do that before starting to write your book. It creates that, I don't know, subconscious line and soul connection, and it really makes things easier. It takes a little bit more time as a priming, but it collapses time through all the writing of the book, because you go from chaos into clarity and certainty. And you go in from wanting to control what you're writing and doing it the right way, and like I said before, pleasing the right people, into surrender. And if this is the message that is coming through, let's trust that this is the message that is coming through. And it's felt through your book. There is a huge difference when you read a book that was written in this way, from your heart, with connection, with that intention, than when you read something that is written without that energy. And I know for some people that concept is weird. I mean, like, a book is a book. No, a book is not a book. A book is a story. It's your story. It's your voice. And it also has its own energy. Your cover has the energy. You put in it the colors that you like. You put in it the font that you like. You were activated through your life. You were inspired through your life. Everything comes into that. This is your creation. It's your child in some ways. And you are now being the creator. You are being the doctor. You are being the teacher. You are being the friend. You are being the daughter. You are being the sister. You are being everything in this book. So when you do it with that energy, it changes everything. And authors who have written in this way manage to write their whole book in even as little as 3 days, because one, they got into that high and trance that they couldn't stop writing, because this connection, this energy it's contagious. You don't want it to stop. You feel unstoppable. You feel like you just, climb the mountain, you're on top of the mountain, you're like, oh my God, yeah, you want to be there forever. And second, because it is so clear, it's like the difference in between sailing in a sea that is wavy and full of waves and storms, and you don't know how to control it and how to control the boat, or having a captain, which is your guide, even if you are your own guide, and having the sea calm, because this is how you calm it. You create all of that. So this is really important. It's very potent and much more important than creating an outline, because it just shows you the way. And then you have us to help you with the rest.
Yeah, I was about to say, because you could be scared starting to write a book and then never be able to finish it, because a lot of people say it takes them ages to write and to complete a chapter. But you just gave me the answer here as to this is the energy that you need to get into, and then it just flows. And I've seen this before, when just journaling, just through journaling, it's just all of a sudden I've written 3, 4, 5 pages. I don't even know where this information came from.
Exactly. If you think about it, if you count the writing time itself, it's not that much, because the average book has 10 chapters. Nowadays, the books are, the shorter they are, the more they are, sought after. So even 7, 8 chapters, and each chapter has averagely 10 pages. So to write that amount, if you take, average chapter would take you around 75 minutes to write, even if you are not an expert writer, even if you are not a native English speaker, even if you kind of hiccup in between, it's okay. If you give yourself permission to hiccup and permission to stumble and permission that it won't be perfect, in 75 minutes you can complete the whole chapter easily without even feeling that. That's an hour and 15 minutes. So in 7, 8 hours, you have a whole book. 7, 8 hours could be 3 intensive days where you go out on a weekend and you decide, I'm just going to fully focus on my book, and you just write 2 to 3 hours a day. Or it could be a week where you write every day, and that's it. In a week, you have all your book done. The writing time doesn't take long. What takes long, people, and they go back and forward and it takes them years, is that stuckness, is being too much in the head, is going back, is editing, re-editing, and maybe I shouldn't write this, or maybe I should write this, and then getting distracted by the dogs barking, by this happening, by life. So you go full on, you eat that frog, you get it done, and then you can get distracted by everything. You don't need to do it forever. And so I think that, even people who write their books for years, the actual writing time is not that much. It's the in-between, the hiccups that take so long.
That's true. Yeah. Love this. Really, really good point. Right. So I guess final reflection before I move into the strategic side, and I think I'll let you go as well. I just wanted to finish this exercise, and I think I'll then finish off with the strategy bits and pieces.
Oh, me. Okay. Sorry, guys, but it's my first time with the slideshow thing. I'm a virgin, so I'm still getting used to it. Okay, so it's really beautiful, and I always recommend authors to keep a backstage journal and kind of have a reflection on what's happening in the meantime, even while you're writing the book. And this could actually be eventually also another book or a behind the scenes or a good marketing tool. But right now, you want to document your behind the scenes, and this is the first step. So because then you will also know what works for you and what really helps you, and also it will give you insight to things that you didn't realize that were important for you. So even though this was a short exercise, please take a few 2 minutes to reflect and to kind of digest what just happened. What did you notice? What did you feel? Did you get any strong messages? If you didn't, please don't worry, it will come. What surprised you? I have authors that all of a sudden, in this a few minutes that they wrote a love letter, they got exactly what they need to write, how they need to write it, when they need to publish, the name of the book, and everything. Or they all of a sudden got shown an experience that they went through or that they are going to go through. For some others, it's just a very pleasant experience. Many authors cry when they write the love letter, especially when it's for themselves or for the future reader that they see as an inner child or someone who has passed already, and so on. So it's really beautiful to reflect on that. And even that can be included, if you wish, in your book as a beautiful exposure of your true self, of your naked self. And then, most importantly, what truth wants to be told. Because if you now are writing this book, this memoir, in this certain moment of your life, there is a reason for that. And we want to be in the now, we want to be present. So, what's the reason? You could be going through something that is extremely important for you. In my case, my first book was written when I became a single mom and I was going through a hard divorce and I was feeling very, very rejected. But I wanted to also go deep into that so it won't affect my motherhood. But it could be that you are not going through anything that you are aware of, that it just maybe you are now in the most powerful spot of your life and you want to help others to do that. Or maybe you are really looking for, okay, what's my next step with my business so I can get more exposure or expand more or not depend on social media and the online world and so on. So whatever it is, this would be beautiful to tap into, and it will also help you, again, sail that ship. It just takes a few minutes, and you know, our greatest mission here by the Kabbalah of our soul is to getting to know ourselves, know thyself, no, having different experiences and knowing ourselves through them. So if you take the journey of writing, yes, as a mission to get your message out there and to inspire others and to have a funnel for your business and so on, but you also take it as a way for you to get to know yourself better and to understand yourself better and to even see your patterns that you wanted to change or change them through the book and show others how to do it, whatever it is, tapping into your personal truth on top of the one that you are showing in the book is something that is absolutely beautiful and powerful also for your personal life beyond the book itself.
It's therapy. Yeah.
It's therapy. Yeah.
Coaching, in essence. Beautiful. Thank you so much. I know, Mirav, you need to go.
Yeah, I need to go and pick up my little ones.
Yeah,
So I'm leaving you in the very amazing, professional, and greatest hands of this amazing woman, which you're really very, very lucky to have in your life, online, offline, and in whatever she does. Like, really, I would put my hands in fire for her. Sabine, thank you so much for this opportunity to share my skills with you and with you all. And I will wish you all a beautiful day or night wherever you are. Bye.
okay. I think it was. Anyway, I'll take it from here. Thank you so much for joining me, Mirav. And yeah, now it's I guess my little part here towards the end. Just wanted to share with you how do you then package the book, and how do you launch it, and how do you monetize, and what other things you can do with the book as well. So basically it's a living funnel, right? So you've got the book, say you've produced a book, and it draws readers into your world. One of the things that you might want to think about already whilst you are putting the book together is potentially a bonus page. So let me just show you what I did. In the very front, actually, I created like a barcode, right? So it's a bonus page. It tells you go here. It could be a website where they can download additional things. It could be a video. It could be an audiobook. We actually did our audiobook. So each of the collaborators in the book read their own story. So we actually created an audiobook from that, and they could download it. I'll probably somewhere down this video, I'll put a link there so you can actually see how the whole funnel did look. So I had like a pre-sell kind of stage where we said, okay, this is the date when we launched the book. Please opt in with your email and your name. So you're going to be the first one who will hear about the book, and you'll also get it for much cheaper. So that was one of the stages. And then you'll also get all the bonuses. So we actually had people already pre-registering. And of course, because there were 24 other people around me that were also promoting the book, they all did the same. So we had obviously campaigns on social media. We had banners. We did live streams. We did a massive book launch online as well, where I interviewed all the different collaborators. And of course, for you, it may be different because you may be on your own, but you can think about it in this vein as to, okay, how do I get people already before I launch interested in the book? What bonuses can I add so that they actually put in their name and I can start creating an email list? Because the email list itself is one of the leverage, is a leverage tool that you can use so that you can actually then promote things to them afterwards, right? So that's number 3 here, is the lead capture, and perhaps even creating a community. So we had a Facebook group where then the readers would come into the group. They can connect with the authors, ask questions. We did live streams and mini series of meditations, of other gifts. We had a whole bundle of gifts. So these are all additional things that you could think of to actually add value. And it's not about, do you monetize the book? Well, unless you have a huge following like Tony Robbins or I don't know, Russell Brunson, like the big gurus in the industry, they probably make a lot of money just selling their books. But we, as a small business owner, we need to think about how can I monetize the book, like off the back end, basically. It's not, because to be honest, the books that I've written are, as I said, they have pictures in them, and it costs quite a lot of money to actually print. So the profit from a book sale is just a few pounds, $3, right? So it's not going to make you hugely rich. However, it's like a front end marketing tool. That's how I'm seeing it. And then this is the reason why I say add a bonus page, get people to opt in and capture the leads even before you launch the book. And then once you launch the book, you can then send an email to them. Hey, it's book launch tomorrow from 9 a.m. It will be available on wherever, Amazon to buy, right? So different models. I mean, we can discuss this, obviously, for hours and hours, and I could do another workshop around self-publishing or going to a publisher or getting books manufactured. Like I have boxes of books at home as well that I can now send out and sell that way. So there's different models, obviously, but the easiest way is actually to self-publish, put it on Amazon, and that's it's like kind of print on demand. As and when people purchase, Amazon will print it and send it out. What we also did is a workshop. So I did an educational workshop as part of this because it just really tied in very nicely with what I was talking about in my story. I always talk about business startup, growth, scaling, funnels, tech, all this kind of stuff, right? So I had different workshops that I did for different purposes and for different audiences that would then sell my coaching packages in the back end. So that's your paid offer. So it could be that you are just in the very beginning and you don't have all of that yet, and you don't have the clarity yet. But I think it's good just to think this through. What could be the end game after the book? And yeah, what can your book become? It's definitely visibility. We talked about this already. It's helping you to identify your tribe, a community of people that share your values, that believe in you, that perhaps are very inspired to what you wrote about and your own story. It will attract ideal clients that resonate with your story. It could mean a consistent income if you're building this living funnel in the correct way, in an evergreen way. That's why my banner says Evergreen Business Queens, because I'm thinking about evergreen so that you don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over again. So it could be just quite a nice sort of continuous income. And if you set it up in the back end, it could be recurring revenue stream here as well. Thinking memberships is an option. And of course, content could also be a material for your business. It could be stories, because, in business, it's all about storytelling. It's not just about getting out there on social media and say, hey, buy my stuff. No, it's telling your story. And I quite often tell the story about how I got to write a book, and that I've actually never thought about writing a book, not even being a native English speaker, and the challenges that I have faced. But then how everything aligned, the universe aligned everything for me, and things just became so easy and in flow. So these little stories I can just seed into my business and then connect it with my coaching, and how I can then help my clients, get into that kind of state of flow and thinking about their business in the same way. And of course, the last item here is actually, it is a legacy. You are building a real asset. It's something that's tangible. Yeah, it could be an ebook as well. I get that, but it's something that people can hold. They can feel it. You can have both available. You can have a Kindle version available. You can have a real copy available as well. But the main thing is you're creating a lasting impact, and you're telling a story. And those books will be around even once we're all gone, right? We might not be here, and people are still reading your book. And I had occasions where I went to a conference and people recognized me from my book, and I never have thought. She turned around and she goes, "Are you so and so? I have a book club and we read your book quite recently," because she said, "I'd recognize you from the picture in the back." And I was like, "What? That's incredible. It's insane." So it's really, really humbling, and it fills my heart to actually think that there is community and there is other people actually spreading the word on my behalf as well. So, so as I said, there's 3 pages that you want to perhaps think about when creating a memoir. So it's a mid-book bonus page, perhaps an end-of-book invitation. Like there could be another page there to say what's next. So obviously I put in, here are some of my other books, or here is my community. Scan this code and you get a discount to come and join my membership, for example. I also added a charity. So I actually, in the back of my book, I have 2 charities that I am donating a percentage of all the book sales. And so those charities were highlighted. And some really additional lovely things that you can do for sure. What's next here? Right. I guess this is the doorway. And this is what a lot of authors are not thinking about. It's how do I get people further into my world? The book is just the front door, and then I let people into my space where they can continue to mingle, continue the conversation, and even up level and upgrade and get more support and more services from me as well. So One of the things is, as I mentioned quite briefly, is a membership perhaps, and I'll show you my membership in a second as well as to how that works out. Of course, so you can give, you could do a free group, right? You could have, say, well, if you are purchasing my book, there is a code in there inside the book where you can then come and access this membership or this group, or you ask for their email address when they come and enter the group, and or send you an invoice to prove that they bought the book, whatever, you know, however you want to create the space. Or you could just have a free group in the beginning and then sell the book into the membership thereafter as an upsell, right? It could be that you already have a group online somewhere, and then you launch the book into that group. But then you can have also a readers only exclusive membership where they can see behind the scenes content, where maybe lost chapters, the chapters that you dare not to put in, that you can just publish them into that community. You could give them feedback, more connection. Maybe you do some live streams, and or you do networking in a community, and people can connect in the group because it may be they're all working towards a similar sort of goal. Maybe they all have a story that really resonated, like a divorce, right? So there's many ways you can think about it. Live calls, emotional connection, and of course the recurring income. So you could actually have a price for this membership. So you could say, well, as part of purchasing the book, you can have this membership for 50% off, or coming as a founder member if it's something that you're starting from scratch, and then you can deliver more value, right? So that would be then the membership conversation. And so your story would become a strategy, and your truth becomes your tribe. Your words become wealth. That's beautiful, right? So it's really thinking about, how am I going to use the book? So it's strategy, community, and also creating wealth from this. So, and the question, I guess the final question is to really listen to yourself and answer this truthfully. You know, what is calling you? What truth are you ready to tell? Right? What story have you been carrying? What offer may be buried inside your story, or as a continuation that you can see this is the logical next step? And what are you going to do next? What are you claiming next? Is it time for you to step up and to finally unleash that story and unlock the strategy, unlock perhaps, you know, inspiring a community? If that's you, then there is an opportunity. We'll mention it very briefly, where you can find myself or Mirav to help you with the next steps. And as I mentioned, I do have a community myself where I provide both strategy and also in conjunction with Mirav, we do the writing and then also the strategy together. So there's different ways you can interact with us. Well, definitely you want to complete writing your prompt first and foremost. Then perhaps if you feel called, you can share your breakthrough under the video that you're watching. And then it's about committing to consistency and going forward. And then perhaps you're thinking about, can I do this myself? Will I do it myself? Will I keep myself accountable to finish the book, to write it, to package it up, to design it, put it out there? Or is there perhaps a need for me to seek some support? As I mentioned, we do have different things that we offer. Mirav does writing retreats every so often, so we can put some information there for you here. I help with the funnels and the book publishing. I actually have a set of membership I'll share with you as well, where we have the author's Launchpad, which is a self-study course that will give you step-by-step guide around how to get started, what to think about, all the examples I shared today as well. And then I know Mirav already has got a couple of workbooks for you available as well. So we'll just put everything under this video. And if you have any questions, just reach out to us as well. It's not a problem. We'll be here to answer questions. Yeah, with that said, thank you so much for being here and for opening up. And we hope to see your book out there on the shelves, online, in the online space, of course. That's also an option. And I think we're all here to help each other and to really, get to that ultimate truth. And we're not here to play small. We're here to write. We're here to rise, to lead. We're leaders, right? And we deserve, and we actually owe it to ourselves and to our tribe, our community, to others, that we are actually sharing from our heart. So with that said, I look forward to hearing from you and see what breakthroughs you got and what story is inside you. And check out the links. I'll make sure everything's below this video, even examples to my books and to Mirav's books, so you can actually see how we've worked it and how the structure may look for a strategy and a sales funnel. And join us in the community. We're here to help, happy to help, and to give you some more guidance and support going forward. Take care, and that's it from us, and we'll see you again soon.